Blessings and welcome to Eartheart Radio. Finally beginning to awaken from the illusion of separateness and broadcasting live from the KSKQ studios in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. Here's your host, Shankara Das.
And it is wonderful to be here today, that's for sure. Good afternoon, blessings, and thank you for attending the Eartheart Radio Show. It is show number 10, and you can find us on Facebook and, of course, our YouTube channel. It does contain all archive shows, including our recent shows with Wavy Gravy and Baba Bhagavan Das. Next week, City Councilwoman and KSKQ manager and activist Julie Akins is my guest. But today we are honored to have a guest who will be performing this Wednesday, October 30th, at the Rogue Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship at 87 4th Street in Ashland. The performance will begin at 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 7 p.m. I'm excited. Simrit is a student, practitioner, and certified teacher of both Kundalini and Nad Yoga. She's also a certified level 2 Reiki practitioner. Her highly acclaimed Yoga of the Voice and Sound course called The Supreme Sound, and her new woman's course, Clear and Confident, continue to be studied by thousands worldwide. In addition to recording, composing, and producing music and touring with her band, she conducts workshops across the globe. Her latest album is titled When We Return, and it will be released next month. We will play music from that album immediately following our 15-minute chat with Simrit. Please send good vibes and an Eartheart Radio Show welcome to Simrit. Let me get my phone plugged in so I can get her on the air with us. Hi, Simrit. How are you today?
Hi, Derek. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it was great that you took time because I know that you're on tour literally, so you're stepping outside to accommodate us. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's really a pleasure and an honor, and I'm so grateful to be on your show. So thank you for having me.
For sure. I have my little list here, and it got away from me. I have an assistant who is actually a co-host of the show that's not here today, so I'm kind of winging it. So thanks for putting up with that. And let's see here. I've got my interview questions, and here they are, Miss Simrit. I'm really excited to talk to you. Where are you located?
Thank you.
Are you in California right now, or Washington, or?
Oh, gosh. Right now, we're actually in Vancouver, and we are driving down to Seattle tonight, or this afternoon, and then we head to Portland, and then we'll be in your hometown of Ashland.
We are stoked. I've got several friends and I are going to see you perform, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, yay!
We've been looking at all your stuff on YouTube, and there's such a diverse selection of videos and music on there, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's, when you look on YouTube, and I find this too when I'm looking at bands on YouTube, it's really hard to get an idea of what it's truly like live. So I'm glad y'all are coming to the show live. And because live is a whole different thing, and it sounds different, it feels different, and yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to see you all there and to meet you in person.
As a performer myself, this is a genuine question that wasn't on my list, but do you have anyone that influenced your style of performing, or is it all very unique from you alone?
Well, the influences my style of performing, no, not that I know of.
Awesome.
But that influences my style of music, of course. There's hundreds of influences. So it's always interesting to see like how those come out, even when they're not purposefully.
Yeah, you're like really deep down subconscious influences. I think we lost Simrit for about a second. She already warned me that she might lose reception for 10 seconds because of an elevator, so I'm prepared for this to happen. You are at the Eartheart Radio Show and KSKQ Radio. We're talking with Simrit, and I think we might have lost her, but it's okay because I'm going to just simply call her back. I'm not going to panic. It's live radio. I've been doing this for 20 years. Literally, today is my 20th anniversary in radio. And that was good timing to say, right? Let's see, I'm trying to get Simrit back on the line. Here we go. It says it's calling. Uh-oh. She's probably trying to call me back. So what do I do now? Well, I'll sit here and tell you that later in the show we're going to spotlight a saint. Oh, hey there, Simrit. Hi, Simrit.
Hi. Sorry about that. Out of the elevator now.
I warned the audience that I've been doing, today's my 20th anniversary doing live radio, so I'm used to this kind of thing.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's huge.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I know what I wanted to ask, because I really don't know, is how did your name Simrit come about?
Well, I was born Stavrula, which is Greek for, I guess the closest thing in English is Stephanie.
Okay.
So I was called Stephanie as a young child, and still my family and close friends from back home call me Stephanie, and I like that. Or call me Stavrula, and I love that. I don't ask them to call me Simrit, but I was in my early 20s, and I had reached out to one of my yoga teachers, Yogi Bhajan, who brought Kundalini Yoga over to the West, and I was studying that at the time. I mean, I still practice it and still study it and teach it, but at the time I had just gotten into it when I was 19, and I reached out to him to ask for a name, because I was learning that he gave names to people, but only if they asked. Like, he wouldn't just say, okay, now you can get a name or anything like that.
Yeah.
His whole thing was like self-initiation and all that. And so I asked him, I was curious to know what it was. And I remember telling myself, like, oh, if I don't like it, I don't have to use it, or if I don't resonate with it or whatever. It was more of a curiosity.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting, because as soon as I got my name from him, I wrote him a letter, and then he wrote me back. And when he wrote me back, he gave me the name Simrit, and he said that it meant that it was the mastery of the practice of remembering the universe, the cosmos, with each breath. And I was like, wow, that's really cool, and I really resonate with it. And it wasn't even the meaning of it that I resonated with; it was the sound of it. And so I started going by Simrit pretty. Like, as soon as I got the name, I remember I was in the college library, and as soon as I got that name, I started introducing myself from then on out as Simrit. So that's how I got the name, and then, eventually I changed it legally to Simrit, because, I was going by that all the time from there on out after I received the name. And, it was just easier because people were calling me Simrit anyways, and
wow.
Legally it was just easier, so I changed it. Yeah.
Well, when I first started this radio show about 10 weeks ago, I had to let people know that I was using the name Shankara, which is exactly how I got my name from a teacher as well. So that's exactly the explanation, folks, that I was trying to explain to you guys. The same thing happened.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool. Very cool.
That's really cool.
So, as far as your music goes, Simrit, your new album, When We Return, released next month. What can the fans expect from this release compared to the past releases? It's your 7th album, I think, right?
It is. It's a 7th release. The last album that we put out is a live album. This album in particular is a studio album, so it's our 6th studio album. And, what I think people can expect is something fresh, of course, with every album that me and my band put out. It's very different from the last, but there's also the vibe, the thread that goes through all of them, which is the vibe. And that vibe is like why people come to the shows, why people listen to the music. The music is fantastic, but it's not essentially the music, it's what's the undercurrent of the music.
Yes.
And so they're coming for that. And that's always in the music, no matter if it's like, booty shaking music, or if it's, got like a country feel to it or a rock feel to it or whatever it has, people are drawn to the vibe. So this is, we definitely stretched out in the studio, and we had been playing these songs live, some of them, not all of them, about half of them on the album. We've been playing live already and had developed beautiful arrangements for them and things like that. So there's, really hypnotic songs with really strong beats. There's some beautiful songs in English that'll make you shake your booty. and but it's not like we're not making the songs to do those things. It's just what happens. Or when I say they'll make you shake your booty, it could also be they'll make you nod your head.
There you go.
One of those things.
Yeah.
But all of it,
we're actually
all of it is It's great.
We're going to play, when we're done speaking, I was going to play the song called Just a Glance from the new album, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What some folks might not know if they haven't been to the Simrit performance or heard your records, unique instrumentation is a big part of your sound. And I was wondering if you would care to guess how many instruments that you actually have or that you guys utilize during a live performance.
Oh, gosh. It is. There's nothing like it on the planet. And I say that because it's a fact. It's true. And it's not to try to boost up something because it doesn't need boosting. It's just what it is. We have Salif Bamakora, who plays a 21-string West African harp instrument called the kora, and he's been studying for about 20 years with a lineage that comes from Mali. And then we have Devin Ashley on percussion, who plays drum kit and hand percussion. And, he's played with people like, Beck and the Lemonheads and gone to Coachella and played in front of hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, he's a phenomenal drummer. And the reason that we all are so, inspired and honored to have him in the band is because he's got such an incredible feel. And that's why so many people seek him out. But he's, we're really grateful to be bandmates with someone with such like a high caliber feel, and sincerity when they play. And then there's Shannon Hayden, who plays electric cello, acoustic vintage cello, and electric guitar. And she plays her cello through a massive pedal board, so it does not. So sometimes it'll sound like an acoustic cello in some parts of the music, and then sometimes it sounds like you're like jumping off a spaceship or something into the cosmos. I mean, it's wild. Nice. It's so cool. It's got, the music itself has such a psychedelic atmosphere, but it's a cosmic journey. We've got Jared May on the bass. He plays electric bass in Moog, which is a synthesizer. And then there's me, and I play harmonium and a little bit of hand percussion, and I sing. And the harmonium, for those of you that don't know what it is a handheld pump organ that originated in France. It's a French instrument originally, was adopted by the British, and then came to India as well. So it's really fun for me because it's similar to an organ. Yeah. It's got some accordion sound to it, but to me more sounds like an organ the way that I play it.
I never knew that about the harmonium until I got the information from your dear Lydia sent me this information, and I read that. I did not know that that originated in France and then came to India. That was educational for me.
Yeah, I didn't know that either when I first got it, but then I started researching it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Sometimes we think we have something pinned down and it's so black and white, and we don't realize oh wow, the harmonium's not Indian, it's French.
It's a whole different
people associate it with it. Yeah,
whole different spin on things. But I know I know you are busy, and I would like to ask you one more question before I let you go, Simrit.
Sure.
We were speaking of the harmonium being adopted into India, and it's not an easy thing to discuss in a short amount of time. But may I ask how you discovered East Indian devotional paths and what attracted you to that?
Sure. I grew up in the church, and I was singing in the choir since I was in elementary school. And I was singing the church hymns, and we just grew up in a simple family, and we had a simple life. We had basic needs, growing up, and church was a big deal to us. That was our outlet for everything growing up. So, we were at church 3 to 4 days a week, and so when we played, the hymns and we sang, I mean, that to me was soul stirring, and I loved it. And I just basically, my dad was in the choir. My dad threw me in the choir and was like, you're going to sing because I'm singing in it. And I loved it. And I was singing since at the time I was little. So when I was in the choir and we were chanting at that time and doing these ancient Greek chants from thousands of years ago, it was really old old stuff. And the fact that I got to be introduced to that at such a young age and to actualize that in my body and in my mind by chanting them and singing these hymns, that to me really started me off on the path. And it wasn't, till I was about 19 that I discovered Kundalini yoga. And once I started hearing the chants and some of the music and the class and stuff, I was like, oh, this isn't any different than what I've been doing my whole life. It just felt so natural.
Yeah.
So, and then, when I went to my first Kundalini yoga class, I heard a little bit of music with chanting in it, and I just knew right away. I said, gosh, I really have something to contribute in my own unique way. And I, for 10 years or 11 years, I didn't do anything about it. I just continued to play music and study music like I normally did since I was a kid. But I never thought I was going to make a career out of any of that. And, 9 years ago it was, I put my first album out.
Wow.
And I didn't market it, didn't put it out there. I just released it for the Kundalini yoga community. Then 3 years after that, I put another album out, and I've just released it for the Kundalini community.
Wow.
And didn't market it or anything. And it wasn't until 6 years ago that I truly decided that I was going to start to push this thing and really put it out there in the world. So 6 years ago, I started touring. 6 years ago, I started marketing myself and putting myself out there. And so, yeah, it's really been these past 6 years. This is the 6th year right now. And, it has, since I've put the music out 6 years ago and put myself out there, it really has taken, has kind of grown legs of its own, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's taken its own shape and form, and I'm committed to that. I'm committed to honoring that. What my muse wants, not what necessarily other people want or they think I should do, or
right.
I'm following the creative muse. Mm-hmm. And that to me is what leads me in the direction that I go with my music and projection, the way that I dress, the vibe of the concerts and, that kind of stuff, and the vibe of the ads, even down to the ads that I put out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. I just wanted to ask you that. I know it's a lot to ask in a short time, and I appreciate you trying to put it in a nutshell for me like that.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Like I said, I'm so happy to be on your show, and I'm so happy that you are interested in interviewing me. So I'm happy to chat about it.
Well, I hope to say hello in person on Wednesday night at the Universalist Church in Ashland. The doors open at 7 o'clock. If anyone wants to come out and check out Simrit, please do. I know there's a group of us coming. We're excited. So have a great show tonight if you're performing. And, thanks again for being on the Eartheart Radio Show.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to meeting you all, too.
Okay, well, thanks, Simrit. And when we return, right? That's the album.
When we return. And, what's really cool is the album doesn't come out till late November, but on this tour only, we're offering physical copies of the CDs early, so you can actually get the music now when you come to the show, which is really cool. Well, and, I'm excited about that.
I'll definitely pick up a copy for the show, and then we can play some tracks on the Eartheart Radio Show down the road then.
Oh, that's so awesome. Sounds good. And looking forward to seeing you there.
Okay, thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, take care. See you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye. There you go. Simrit. What a great chat that was. It was fun, man. You are listening to the Eartheart Radio Show, KSKQ Radio. I am Shankara Das, a.k.a. Derek Moody, and thanks for being here. I really appreciate it very much.
All paths lead to getting higher up the proverbial mountain. Eartheart Radio with Shankara Das on KSKQ.
Playing a track from the upcoming Simrit album. It's a song called Just a Glance right here at KSKQ and Eartheart Radio Show.
truth, nature, spirit. Eartheart Radio on KSKQ.
And thank you for tuning in. That was a wonderful song from the upcoming Simrit album. It's her 7th release, which will be out at the end of November. That was a lovely tune, man. Just a glance. I really liked it. They have such unique instrumentation. They have all these instruments that no one uses. So when you see or hear Simrit, boy, it's so unique. Again, they will be performing at the Universalist Church in Ashland Wednesday this week, 7 p.m. And I want to say thanks to our underwriters and thank you to everyone who did contribute to our pledge drive recently, which I am proud to say we actually exceeded our goal, and that's a great thing to be able to say. Underwriting support for this community program is brought to you by A Street Print and Parcel Community Business Center, Ashland, family owned since 2008. A Street Print and Parcel is Ashland's one-stop printing, packing, and shipping center. Whether you need a quick print or 10,000 copies, a private mailbox, business cards, an urgent overnight delivery, or to simply mail a letter, A Street Print and Parcel does it all. Located at 258 A Street, number 1, Ashland, Oregon. Open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 5:30. Their phone number is 541-552-0505. And of course, online at www.astreetcopy.com. KSKQ thanks A Street, Print and Parcel, and all our underwriters for supporting community radio. And if you know me personally, please don't text me or call my phone while I'm doing the show if you would, or send messages, because I do use my phone for parts of my show. So just putting that out there in case you didn't know that, because every once in a while you'll hear a weird little noise on the air, and that's what that's from.
Gratitude is our attitude. Thanks for tuning in to Eartheart Radio on KSKQ. Saints, angels, avatars, sages, yogis, holy men, medicine men, helpers, elders, revolutionaries, and advocates of love. Today we honor and show love, respect, and gratitude.
Every week we do show love, respect, and gratitude to the beloved saints and blessed sages. Today's show is dedicated to Mama Bear and Papa Bear. Congratulations. I think they've been together 26 years? Jai Ma. Yeah, Mama Bear was really kind. Last week, Sister Tracy got a nice gift from Mama Bear, who's a regular listener of KSKQ. It was a cool little elephant on a necklace, so that was really kind. Thank you, Mama Bear, for listening. She said that they enjoy the Eartheart Radio show, and I told her I don't get a lot of feedback, which is true. So if you listen to the Eartheart Radio show, maybe give me a call or send me an email later. I'd like to know who's listening to the show, because I'm trying to decide if I should keep this show going past this year, like, maybe just do it through December for fun. But if I get, any feedback saying, hey, I like this show, I'd like to keep it going personally, but, only if people are listening. Today, we're going to focus on a person I feel really close to. I love saints. I love studying them. And of all religions, of all spiritual beliefs, I've got to put that out there. I'm not into one trip at all. Don't get into that. No, I'm into very exclusivity. No, I'm into everyone being completely involved. Everybody, like joining hands. So today we're going to focus on a gentleman by the name of Ramana Maharshi. Born December 30th, 1879, Ramana Maharshi was an Indian sage and a liberated being. He was and is regarded by many as an outstanding enlightened being. He was a charismatic person and attracted many devotees, some of whom saw him as an avatar and the embodiment of Shiva. He was born in what is now Tiruchuli, Tamil Nadu, India. In 1896, at age 16, he had a death experience where he became aware of what a current or force, which he recognized as his true I or self, and which he later identified with the personal god that is Shiva. This resulted in a state that he later described as Janani. 6 weeks later, he left his uncle's home and he journeyed to the holy mountain Arunachala, where he took on the role of sannyasin, though not formally initiated, and he remained there for the rest of his life. He soon attracted devotees who regarded him as an avatar and came to him for darshan, which is the sight of God. They call that in India. It's when you sit with the saint, and sometimes they talk, sometimes it's silence. Darshan. In later years, an ashram group grew around Ramana Maharshi, where visitors received spiritual instruction by sitting silently, asking questions. Since the 1930s, his teachings have been popularized in the West, resulting in his worldwide recognition as an enlightened being. Ramana Maharshi approved a number of paths and practices, but recommended self-inquiry as the principal means to remove ignorance and abide in self-awareness, together with devotion or surrender to the self. Ramana Maharshi regarded giving darshan as his, quote, task in life, according to devotee Arthur Osborne, and said that he had to be accessible to all who came. Even during his terminal illness at the end of his life, Ramana Maharshi demanded to be approachable for all who came for his darshan. People tried to touch his feet, which is considered darshana. When one devotee asked if it would be possible to prostrate before Sri Ramana and touch his feet, he replied, "The real feet of Bhagavan exist only in the heart of the devotee. To hold on to these feet incessantly is true happiness. You will be disappointed if you hold on to my physical feet, because one day this physical body will disappear. The greatest worship is worshiping the Guru's feet that are within oneself." Ramana developed cancer, and when his devotees voiced concern about losing him, he responded with the statement, "I am not going anywhere. Where shall I go? I shall be there where I am always." Ramana Maharshi departed the physical world April 1950. He died sitting in the lotus position. The final word that passed from his divine lips was the sacred syllable Om. And that was the end. He died. His body dropped, and his love never went away. And all these years later, people like me talking about him on the radio. You know, some great quotes out there too from Ramana Maharshi. One of them is, "Your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world." I love that. Another quote by Ramana Maharshi, "No one succeeds without effort. Those who succeed owe their success to perseverance." How about one more quote from the great Ramana Maharshi, and then we will play a song from the great Bob Dylan. Some music. Yes, we've got a tune. Somebody requested, actually. It's called "You've Got to Serve Somebody" by Dylan. We'll get that on very shortly. Here's another quote from Ramana Maharshi. "The degree of freedom from unwanted thoughts and the degree of concentration on a single thought are the measures to gauge spiritual progress." There's something for you to ponder. Locals Guide is proud to be an underwriter of KSKQ. Locals Guide is committed to community building through the creation of positive media. They offer a monthly magazine, mobile travel guides, and visitor information kiosks, which offer timely and accurate local information to people just like you all around the world. KSKQ thanks Locals Guide and listeners like you for supporting community radio. My friends, thanks for being here again. I am Shankara Das, a.k.a. Reverend Derek Moody. I'm glad to have you all aboard on the show each week. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure.
At Eartheart Radio, our religion is love. Tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. on KSKQ.
You are listening to KSKQ and the Eartheart Radio Show. That was a band called Divine Dirt with an instrumental called Lifting the Veil with the great Rick Agnew on guitar. Before that, Bob Dylan with You Gotta Serve Somebody. I am Reverend Derek Moody, a.k.a. Shankara Das, and I have to serve somebody as well, myself. Right now, a couple more quotes from the great Ramana Maharshi. The greatest error of a man is to think that he is weak by nature, evil by nature. Every man is divine and strong in his real nature. What are weak and evil are his habits, his desires and thoughts, but not himself. I love that quote. Another quote from Ramana Maharshi. When there are thoughts, it is distraction. When there are no thoughts, it is meditation. One more. Here's a great quote. It's a real short one. You ready? Silence is also conversation.
Please let go of your fear. Positive news is here. Things aren't as bad as it seems, no matter what they say. News with an agenda is meant to instill fear. True news can instill hope.
And what we'd like to know is, who are they? Well, we all know who they are, but we do have positive news because it's positive. Yeah, I like to end the show in a way that you feel uplifted and not walking around bummed out. You know what I'm saying? First story of the day. Bus stops in Utrecht designed to benefit the bees. Yeah, good news about bees. More than 316 bus stops in the Dutch city of Utrecht has been transformed into mini urban havens for bees. Yep, the bus stops, which are owned and managed by operator RBL Outdoor on behalf of the local government, have been installed with green roofs to help meet the city's requirements for healthy urban living. Green roofs help to capture fine dust and rainwater and encourage biodiversity by providing ideal conditions for bees to thrive. Well, I'll be darned. That is awesome, though. There's a lot of people into the bees. Laura B., if you're listening, take note. Also, another good set of news. Mexican villagers working to plant 5 million trees. Yep. With reforestation being hailed as one of the easiest natural strategies for combating climate change, a team of Mexican conservationists are working to plant at least 5 million trees around their village. 5 million? Over 100 plantation workers from the southeast town of Constitucion have been planting native saplings across the region since they first began their mission in collaboration with Plant for the Planet. That's a cool name, Plant for the Planet. Back in 2016, the team has planted more than 500,000 trees in the area. That's a lot of planting, man. Johnny Appleseed would be happy. Other positive news. Hopefully other cities will take note of this one. More than 200 homeless seniors will have tiny houses of their very own after donations pour in. Yep, more than $2 million was raised thanks to a nonprofit in San Antonio, Texas. Earlier this week, the Housing First Community Coalition, HFCC, announced it had successfully raised the funds for its new 17-acre town twin village. That's kind of cool. It's a community that provides housing and support services for seniors in San Antonio experiencing long-term homelessness. Alice Salinas, Senior Program Manager of San Antonio Local Initiative Support Coalition, said, quote, "Our goal is to restore dignity and to build a therapeutic community that will promote the flourishing of natural support systems through socialization and development of friendship with volunteers, neighbors, and other residents." Finally, in positive news, very good news for those suffering with Alzheimer's. There's currently no drug treatments on the market that can slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. But this new medication could soon be a groundbreaking treatment for dementia patients after researchers examined the data from the drug's phase 3 clinical trials. If approved, the drug is called aducanumab. It's a real long name. Okay, let's say that. It could become the very first therapy to reduce the clinical decline of Alzheimer's disease, and it would also be the first therapy to demonstrate that removing amyloid beta resulted in better clinical outcomes. Fingers are crossed for further success in that. Honorable mention, here's another really quick one. This is kind of a heartwarming story for those who love their mother. An NFL football star has paid for 500 mammograms to honor his mother. Yeah, a mother's love is a blessing, and former running back DeAngelo Williams has indeed paid for over 500 mammograms for women because to him, the issue is personal. He created the DeAngelo Williams Foundation in honor of his mother, Sandra Hill, who did die of breast cancer in 2006. All 4 of her sisters subsequently died from the same disease, all before the age of 50. So originally, he chose to pay for 53 mammograms because his mother died at age 53, but since his foundation has paid for mammogram screenings for uninsured women in 4 states, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Arkansas. As all states, he has football ties in. The foundation eventually does hope to host a free mammogram screening event in all 50 states. And they also help to pay for any treatments or follow-up appointments for the patients after their mammograms. God bless you, DeAngelo Williams, and of course his mom as well. You are listening to the Eartheart Radio Show on KSKQ. I've got about 10 more minutes. I'm Shankara Das, a.k.a. Reverend Moody, celebrating my 20th year in radio today. And in 20 years, that's never happened. That weird sound that just happened. In 20 years, I've never had that happen. So, weird. Did you know there's a haunted house going on over in Gold Hill, Oregon? There is. I didn't know that. I just looked down in our little box of information for community, and there's a haunted house and graveyard at the Gold Hill Museum. Yeah, apparently the last day it's happening will be on Halloween day from 6:30 till 9:30, I guess Halloween evening. That's this Thursday. Admission is 2 and under is free. And after that, it's really reasonable, I guess. You can find out more by going on to Facebook and going to Gold Hill Haunted House. Gold Hill Haunted House. Thanks for being here, my friends. I will catch you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for being here at KSKQ. I'll be back tonight on the Church of Rock radio show with a whole different ball game at 7 p.m. with Sister Tracy. Thanks for being here. You're listening to KSKQ 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, and KSKQ translator K231 CW 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon. Thanks.
Please let go of your fear.
I'm not sure what the heck that was, guys, either. Here we go. It's Ghosts.
You've been listening to Eartheart Radio with your host, Shankara Das. Eartheart Radio is produced by Shankara Das in association with Sister Tracy and Krishna Consciousness. Please tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for more Eartheart Radio.